Alright guys, welcome back to JayFix. I'm back here again with another brake video. A while back you may have noticed that I did a video on the how to replace your front rotors on this Honda Prelude here with some performance upgrades. Well, I couldn't help myself. I'm back here again to do it to the rear. So as you can see, I've actually nearly finished the driver's side of this job. But if you stay tuned, I'll show you how to do the rest of it. Let's go. Okay, so we're on the other side of the car. I've already taken the wheel off and I've set up a bit of a safety thing here. I've got the spare tyre underneath the car there for a bit of extra protection. Also got a couple of jack stands there, and I've also got the jack that's still holding the car up. So basically first thing we want to do from here on is grab yourself a dish or something like that. And we're just going to hit this with some brake clean just to get rid of all that brake dust and dirt and all that sort of stuff. So let's do that. Try and get it in the back and everything like that. Okay, so once that's done, all clean and dried off and ready to go, we're just going to start by taking these calipers off. There's actually two bolts holding those on. They're 14mm, and I'll show you the best way I can. They're pretty hard to get to, but I'll show you from the back where they are, and you'll find out. You'll figure out where they are. Alright guys, so there's a bolt up the top there, and I'm sorry about the vision, and there's one down the bottom here. They're both 14mm. They're a little bit difficult to get to, but the top bolt of the caliper is probably going to be the hardest to get to. I've fiddled around a bit with a few different combinations of spanners and stuff, but I've basically come up with this to get in there as best as we can, so let's give that a go. Alright, so I'm going to try and get this top bolt out with this ratchet. You just get it on the top bolt and try and crack it. I've soaked this quite well for the last hour or so in penetrating oil, so hopefully that gives us a bit more of an advantage. Oh, alright, that hurt, but anyway, we got it. Okay, that's the top one done. There's putting up a bit of a fight. You know what, I've got a rubber mallet here. Always handy to have. Make sure you hold it, give it a bit of a tap, maybe that'll help. That one is up tight. I think we may have it. Nope, maybe not. There we go. Yep, we did get it. Alright guys, loosen that off, get that bottom bolt out, loosen the top one off, but leave it in there for a bit until we come back. See you soon. Okay, so I've taken that bottom bolt out that holds the caliper on. I've left the top one in loosely, just to hold it on there, not that it's going to go anywhere, because we actually need to get, if you have a look in here, there is a retaining screw bolt holding that on, and we need to take that off. So we've got a bit more of this line that we can actually hang it. We don't want to be putting any pressure on here. We don't want torn brake lines or anything like that. So we're just going to get a piece of wire and attach it somewhere off the suspension so it's not pulling on it. So as usual, I'll get some penetrating oil and spray that up, and it is a 12mm. So we'll get that off. That's a good idea too. You've got loose bolts like this sticking around. Try to put them back in their hole so you don't forget them. Okay, so at this point I've just got the one bolt holding the caliper in. Now there's nothing to stop you from actually just taking the two caliper bolts out and leaving the handbrake cable. The handbrake cable is actually attached to this brake caliper. There's nothing stopping you from actually doing that if you want to, but I'm going to show you how to do it properly, so you know each step of the way, and if anything goes wrong, if you want to clean up any bits and pieces, then you'll know how to do it. So let's get stuck in. So first we need to remove this cover here. It's covering up a lot of the brake components. So there's actually two bolts holding it, and one's here, and I don't think I can get you down there, but there's one at the back. Anyway, you'll feel it. It's sort of on the bottom. But once those are removed, we'll come back and I'll show you the rest. These bolts are 10mm, by the way. Up pretty loose, so shouldn't have any trouble getting them off. So remove that one and get the one on the bottom, and once that's off, we'll be back. So there are a couple of things holding this handbrake cable to the brake caliper. One of which is this little clip here that we need to take out, and the other is this. You can see it's a little clip that you can get a flathead screwdriver in there to pry off. Once that's done, you can just remove this pin, and the handbrake cable is free. Then you can take your caliper off. So let's do that. Okay, so this clip's sort of a bit of a weird clip. It's got sort of a safety sort of thing to stop it just falling off, which is this bit in the hand right here, but we've actually got to try and pull that part out. And the best way I've found is to grab your set of pliers and pull on that at the same time as lifting that up. And the clip should just come off. Now I'll just give you a bit of a look at what that clip looks like. Just in my hand. So you can sort of see it's got a bit of a locking mechanism on it to stop it from actually coming off. So you just got to work around that. Okay, so once that's out, we can get this little pin out. I'll just use a screwdriver. Actually works all right. Push it out. So that's that part. All we've got to do now is get that little clip there out. Right, that's that out. So we're back in a tick, and I'll show you how to get the rest of it out. Okay, so we're at a stage now where we just take that last bolt out on the top here, grab our piece of wire, take this off and wire it somewhere up onto the suspension, and we're ready to take our rotor off. So I'll be back when I do that. Okay, so the caliper's off. One thing I probably should have done before taking the caliper off was get this handbrake out of the actual brakes, and it just slides out. Once we've got it all out, then we can hang it somewhere safe. Okay, so that's most of the hard work done. I've got the brake caliper sitting on top of the actual rotor assembly here. I've also tied it up with some wire just to make sure in case it falls off or whatever, but now we can concentrate on taking this rotor off. So the next step on doing that is taking these two screws out. Now depending on your car and where you live, this could be a nightmare, or that can be just come out easy. But the best way to get these out is with one of these impact screwdrivers. They're pretty cheap to buy, they're very handy, and you'll need a PH2, I think it's a PH2, no, PH3 bit for this to fit perfectly in there, and a hammer. So what I'm going to do before I do that is put some penetrating oil on it as usual, just to make sure it goes easy, and we'll be back when that's done. So I've given this a few minutes to penetrate, soak in a bit. So get our hammer, so there we go, give it a good hit. Beauty, there's one loose. See if we have any luck with the second one. There we go. That was easy, some are harder. Okay, you should be right now just to use a normal screwdriver to undo these screws. And set them aside. Now it's time to take the rotor off. Yeah, it's probably not going to come off easily, so that's what the rubber mallets for. If you've got one of these, that's great. Give it a bit of a hit and it should come off. Well, that took a few hits. What we got there? There we have it. Nothing actually wrong with these rotors, but a bit of an upgrade doesn't hurt, does it? Right, now that that's off, fun part begins, because we've got a lot of cleaning to do. We need to make sure that everything, especially the hub and everything, is ultra clean, because eventually I want to actually detail this, all these wheel arches, so I want everything to look pristine and nice. So I've got a few bits and pieces here that I'm going to use for cleaning. Got some degreaser and some brake clean, just to get in and fix any bits that we might have missed. Also got a brush with some detergent in it, or a couple of different brushes actually. So one's a bit stiffer than the other one, so that's always handy. I've also got a wire brush here, which is a narrow type, which will be great for getting into that hub and all the studs there to clean all them up. The orbital sander, I'll explain that a bit later, what we're going to do with that, and just a couple of rags, and pretty much that's it. So just got to get in and start cleaning. Righto, I'm just going to start off with probably a soft brush first, just to get the loose mud off mainly. Okay, so here are the rotors that we're going to use on the rear. They're the same brand and same model as the ones on the front. They're the T2 series. They're actually an Australian made product. For those of you who are interested, the part number is here, and let's just take a quick look at them, find out what's in the box. It's the first time I've opened this box. So the padding, instruction manual, the rotor itself, and you also get a sticker, which is pretty cool. So I've got this now to a sort of stage where I'm confident that it's nice and clean, and we can start mounting this rotor. Okay, so before we do anything, don't forget about your little protective coating on the rotors there to stop a bit of rust. Just need a bit of brake clean. Spray it on a rag. Don't spray it directly on there because I don't want to ruin this actual paint job on here, but spray it on a rag and just make sure it's off. You can actually see it's on there. You'll notice when it comes off anyway. Do both sides as well, and just stay away from the middle. Alright, so I've actually spent a fair bit of time cleaning that because there was a lot of product on that. Just to give you a bit of an idea, there's the rag. This is the sort of thing that you're pulling off it, and you want to make sure that that's all off that. This was a clean rag when I started, so it just gives you a bit of an idea of what's on there, and you need to really remove it, otherwise it sort of ruins the surface a little bit. But now we can actually start mounting this onto the hub and see what it looks like. So let's go. Make sure your screw holes are lined up, and just get your screws and tighten those down. Okay, so once that's on, just get your impact screwdriver onto that couple of screws there. Make sure they're sort of down tight. They don't have to be over tight or anything like that. Just make sure they're snug. And then it's a matter of reversal of what we did to take it apart. Put your stuff back together. I'll leave all the torque specs and everything in the description down below, so you know what you're doing. And I'll see you back here once this is put back together. Okay, so earlier on in this video I was telling you might need a orbital sander, random sander. That's to make sure that this is all clean and level. Last thing you want to do is put this back on. There's some rust on there that puts it out of balance and whatnot. And also we want to protect the paint job on the new rotors, so we want to try and get all that rust off. So just grab yourself a scrubbing brush with some sort of detergent. Give it a wipe over, and then once it's dry, sand it back just a little bit. You don't need much, just sand it back a little bit, and we're right to go. Alright guys, here's that rim after I've given it a bit of a clean up and a bit of a sand. I didn't go too heavy on the sanding. Used 120 grit wet and dry on that, if you're wondering. But check out the job on this rotor assembly. Absolutely amazing. I love the look of that. The paint job is just immaculate. I love the slots in the rotors. I've given that bit of a detail in the back there, but I'm not going to go to too much trouble because I plan on doing a full detail of these wheel arches later on anyway. So, if you like that video, please subscribe, give it a like, and throw a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything you'd like me to do or anything you'd like to see. And apart from that, stay tuned. JayFix.